Uh, Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. You're welcome to this web event of the FIP YPG. The title of this webinar is Mentorship, Effectively Utilizing the GROW Model as a way to develop your skills and expertise. Next slide, please. So I want to introduce the moderator for this event, Emmanuel Oluwabade, who would be taking us through the webinar today. Thank you. So I'm just going to take us through several announcements. This webinar is being recorded, and you can become a member of the FIP at www.fip.org. You can ask questions via the chat box and provide your feedback at the end of this webinar. Next slide. So the International Pharmaceutical Federation is the global federation of national associations representing 4 million pharmacists and pharmaceutical scientists around the world. FIP's mission is to improve global health by supporting the advancement of pharmaceutical sciences, pharmaceutical practice, sciences, and education. FIP's vision is a world where everyone benefits from access to safe, effective, quality, and affordable medicines and pharmaceutical care. FIP was founded in 1912 in the Netherlands. Next slide. So how do you become a member of the FIP YPG? So as a pharmacist and pharmaceutical scientist or students, is for members under 35 years of age or who graduated less than 5 years ago from the first degree in pharmacy or the pharmaceutical sciences, irrespective of bachelor's, master's, PhD, or family degree conferral, automatically become a member of the YPG. And as a member of the FIP, you should pay a membership fee, and it's based on country's income. So by being a part of the FIP YPG, you have access to quite a number of professional development packages, and there is FIP member benefit from the opportunity to get involved and make a difference early on in your careers. We have quite a number of projects at the FIP YPG which you can get involved in as a member. Next slide, please. I want to formally introduce us to the speakers and panelists for today's event. I have Professor Margarita from the Philippines, Manila College of Pharmacy. I have Dr. Shalo Rosing, Director of Research and Development at the Pharmacon, Danish College of Pharmacy Practice. I have Miranda Sertic, Assistant Professor, University of Zagreb, Faculty of Pharmacy and Biochemistry, who happen to be present mentors of the current cycle of the FIP YPG mentorship program. And we also have current mentees, Olia Hanifa, who is Business Development at Galpatic. We have Amin Merv Yildirim, who is a member of the IPSL Pharmacy Education Committee, who is a mentee of the current cycle of the FIP YPG mentorship program, which is set to end. Next slide. So program of today's webinar. Overview, we're going to take you through mentorship, where Professor Margarita is going to take us through context and background, benefits of mentoring, the GROW model, and then we're going to conclude and ask questions, put them in the chat box, and then we're going to have the panel session where we have group discussions around most of the panelists who happen to be mentors and mentees of the last cycle of the FIP YPG mentorship program cycle, and then we'll wrap up. So I'm going to move now and invite Professor Margarita to kickstart with our presentation. Thank you.
Hello, thank you. Please allow me to share my screen. Warm greetings from the Philippines. My name is Margarita Gutierrez, and I will give a short presentation on mentorship, effectively utilizing the GROW model as a way to develop your skills and expertise. This will be the outline of my presentation. I divided it into 3 parts. The first part, I will focus on introducing mentoring by explaining and defining mentoring and its configuration. Next, I will discuss the benefits of mentoring to both the mentee and the mentor. And lastly, I will introduce to you the GROW mentoring model. And it is my hope that you will be able to effectively apply this model in developing your expertise. A little bit about my context and background. I started my career 10 years ago as an instructor right after graduation. And after 5 years, I earned my master's degree and was able to fulfill all other requirements. So I got promoted to assistant professor and I was also awarded a tenure. Every step of my academic career, I was blessed with generous colleagues that are willing mentors. In my department, I have mentors who are former deans, three of them. One is the founding chair of YPG Philippines. I served four department chairs in the span of 10 years, and even the director of the Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences in my country belongs to our department. So I am quite lucky to belong to this group of people who are willing mentor to me. And at the same time, I have very receptive junior faculty members who are willing mentee whenever I guide them. But actually, even before I entered the faculty, I was blessed to have parents who are mentors to me as well. So my mom is also a pharmacist, and both my dad and my mom served the Philippine FDA for more than 39 years. And I have two brothers who are also pharmacists who are I consider my mentee in the family. So as you can see, mentorship is ingrained deeply in my life. And because of this, I developed a passion about mentorship. So I studied and advocated mentorship for the past 10 years. I wanted to share the benefits of mentorship that I gained throughout the years. In fact, one of my publications focused on effectiveness of junior faculty mentorship in colleges of pharmacy in Manila. I have mentors informally, so not only in our university but outside the university. So this is a picture of one of my mentor, our former dean, when we attended the FIP in Abu Dhabi. And I advocated for the institution of junior faculty mentoring in our university and advocated for workshops on teaching and blended learning strategies. And I was able to expand this advocacy all over the Philippines through my organization, the Young Pharmacist Group Philippines. So I also mentored the young leaders of our profession in the country. And finally, it all culminated in the creation of the FIP mentorship program. So I am proud to be a part of the redesign and relaunch of this program. And this made me quite happy because the advocacy that I started 10 years ago was already reaching an international stage. But what is mentoring? To answer this, I will be using the definition of Bozeman, one of my favorite definitions because it contains the important elements of mentoring. So it is a process of informal transmission of knowledge, social capital, and psychosocial support. So that distinguishes mentoring from teaching. Because in mentoring, you are expected to not only share knowledge or competencies, but you will also give mentee social capital, maybe in the form of referrals or networking opportunities. Also, you will be expected to provide psychosocial support, maybe through emotional counseling or sometimes even in family counseling. As long as, here's the keyword, it is perceived by the recipient as relevant to work, career, or professional development. Another important element of mentoring is the communication, and this distinguishes it from role modeling. So the mentor should be aware that the younger person is considering him as a mentor and they have an open communication. Another important element is this is between a person who is perceived to have greater relevant knowledge, wisdom, or experience. I like this definition because there is no mention of age. So as long as another person has greater knowledge, wisdom, or experience, they can be a mentor. So age is not actually the major consideration. So even a younger pharmacist can be a mentor to an older colleague. Mentoring has different formats and configuration. So allow me to discuss it a little bit. So first is formal versus informal. Formal means that the mentoring relationship developed and formed through a program, and usually it is facilitated by a coordinator. Whereas informal mentorship means that it happens spontaneously, typically in a work environment. Mentoring can also be face-to-face or e-mentoring. As you all know, we are all experiencing a global pandemic, and e-mentoring is a good alternative to face-to-face. So in fact, our FIP mentorship program is a formal e-mentoring. Now, mentoring can also be 1:1 or 1:many, meaning one mentor is to many mentee, or it can also be one mentee with different mentors. Mentorship can also be the classic format, meaning the mentor is the older colleague. Peer means you have the same rank or same age as long as there is a gap between experience or competency. And reverse mentoring means the younger colleague is the mentor to an older colleague. Now, each format and configuration has their own advantages and disadvantages. But allow me to tell you that there is no one superior format. It depends on the context and what is applicable to you. But what I believe is the most important element that should be present, whatever format you enter, is these three key features. First is intentionality. Intentionality means that both mentor and mentee are aware and committed of the mentoring relationship. Collegiality means that there is respect and confidence between the two parties. And mentee-driven means that the mentee is the more proactive party between the two. So what are the benefits of mentoring? So as you can see in this graph, both mentee and mentor will gain interpersonal and communication skills. In the part of the mentee, according to studies, they will have greater self-confidence, they will have a life reference, support system, a career path guidance, they will have more opportunities and networking, greater job satisfaction, and faster competency development. On the side of the mentor, they gain perspective and fresh ideas. They were able to develop their leadership and management skill. They have better self-awareness and satisfaction from giving back. And it is also a way of succession planning. Now, aside from mentor and mentee, their organization also benefits from this relationship and the profession at large. Now, allow me to introduce to you the GROW model. So, GROW model actually started in coaching, but it's very much applicable as well to mentoring. So, GROW stands for goal, reality, options, and way forward. Now, I will be discussing them one by one. But if you notice, I added a small letter I in front of GROW. So I stands for initiate. So I believe that no mentoring relationship will happen without this step. So these are my 3-step process to initiate. Sign up or step up, activate, and maintain. If you have a formal mentorship program available to you in your university or in your organization, sign up, grab the opportunity. But if not, you need to step up. So how do you actually step up? I believe that the important element is volunteering. Step up and reach your career goals. And soon enough, you will be surrounded by potential mentors with like-minded people. Now, once you find these potential mentors, you need to activate. So activate means you need to ask, set up that appointment, initiate the relationship, and allow it to flourish. And maintain means that you need to keep the relationship going. So what are some of my tips? I see to it that I am also useful and helpful to my mentor. So whenever they need me, I will be available. And another form of maintain is you need to constantly update them. For example, you will tell them, remember, we talked about this option and I decided with your help to do this. It resulted to so and so. So this gives your mentor the update and the satisfaction of mentoring you. Now, after initiating the mentoring relationship, you need to have set goal. So for example, one goal is to do research. But actually, this statement is not powerful. It's too broad and it doesn't force you to act, right? So allow me to teach you, and probably some of you are already familiar with this, of converting this into a SMART objective. So when you say SMART, it should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So for example, to publish, so it's specific. You want to publish. To research, so that's your measurable metric. In a reputable journal, so that is your challenge. So, right, it's the standard that you need to meet and it's still within your power to achieve. So that's achievable. In order to qualify for tenure, so that anchors your goal to relevance. So how does it impact you? How does it impact others? And by 2022, it's time bound. So you should turn all of your goals into a SMART goal. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Now, next is you need to ground your goal to reality. And for this, you can use this tool, the SWOT. So you need to be honest with your strengths, your weaknesses, and opportunities and threats that are available. So you can do this with your mentor or you can do this on your own and present it to your mentor. So when you say strength, what are the things that you do well? What are the unique resources that are available to you? For example, in the context of research, perhaps you can say that you're good at technical writing and you are committed to finish these 2 researches. You need to be also honest with your weaknesses. What can you improve on? What are the lack of resources that you have? For example, you can state that you lack experience and competencies in statistics, or you lack funding to start a research. For opportunities, you can scan your environment for opportunities that are available to you, or perhaps a trend that you can take advantage of. For example, you have access to university facilities like journal subscriptions, even laboratories, and there are available university grants that you can apply to. Now, threats are the obstacles you face that prohibits you from reaching your goal. So, for example, you feel that you lack time and experience in terms of applying for research grant, or you don't have time to apply because you're busy with your other responsibilities in the university. So you need to show this, you need to be honest with yourself and allow your mentor to understand this so that they can provide you with a catered mentoring. The next stage is options. So once you presented your problem, your mentor will help you by giving you options. So for example, your first publication is like reaching the top of the mountain. So mentors can provide you with roadmap, meaning they can give you the step-by-step process in order to reach that goal. So first, you do this, think of the topic, 2, 3. Good mentors can also give you proper training and give you some tips on what to bring, what to wear before you start this journey. Mentors can also warn you with potential dangers or potential setbacks that you might encounter along the way so that you can prepare better for it. Good mentors can also give you alternative routes to your goal. And some of them, most of the time, are shortcuts to reach your goal. So this is quite helpful. And if you are lucky, you will meet a mentor that will even give you or lend you the resources to reach your goal faster. Now, my personal favorite is this: mentors that will ask why. Why do you climb this mountain? Why are you doing this research in the first place? So, as you can see, mentors can give you these different strategies to help you reach your goal. And I like this quotation, and I would like to share this to everyone. The shortest path to achievement is to find someone already there, and that is your mentor. Now, the next phase is way forward. The way forward is translating your goals, your reality, and opportunities and options to actions. So these are some of my tips. You list down everything that you need to do to achieve your goal. Then see to it that you are on schedule. So as much as possible, do something every day to achieve this. And you need to keep track of your progress and you need to update your mentor. One tool that I would like to share to everyone is a Gantt chart. And actually, this form is available and free using the Google Sheet. So, for example, you can write the title of your project, and then these are the details of the steps that you need to achieve, and this is your timeline. So, as you know, you can share this Google Sheet to your mentor so that you are both updated. And perhaps whenever you meet, you can share your progress to your mentor. And in the process, you can also share some setbacks that you face so that they can help you better. So without this, without tracking, you have very good goals, but you're not translating it into action. So in conclusion, through my short 15-minute talk, I have introduced to you mentoring and explained to you the important key features. I have enumerated the benefits to mentoring, so I hope I convince you that it is a worthwhile activity. And the GROW model. So goal, reality, option, and way forward. But everything starts with initiate. And to end my presentation, I would like to share to you this important quote. Mentoring is a critical part of personal growth and development. It affords a lifetime of opportunity to grow and develop. Thank you. And I wish for everyone to start your mentorship journey today. These are my email if you want to reach me. And I also shared the information about the YPG FIP where you can inquire about the formal mentoring program.
Thank you so much, Professor Meg, for that amazing session. The highlights for me is that quote when you said the shortest way to achievement is to find someone who's already there. Thank you so much for that amazing session.
Thank you.
You know, a lot of people go into mentorship without actually having a strategy. And from your presentations, you talked about having a goal, a SMART goal, you know, being having measurable goals. And I'd like to thank you for that session. I would like to implore our participants, if you have any questions to ask Professor Meg during the course of the presentation, please use the chat box. We'll be taking questions for Professor Meg during the panel discussion. So moving on to the panel discussion without wasting time. Right on the panel, we have four speakers, four amazing speakers. I'll be introducing them to us. The first panelist, Dr. Charlotte Venarosin, who is a current mentor in the 2020-2021 FIP YPG mentorship cycle. The second panelist, Dr. Miranda Setic, also a current mentor and a university professor at the University of Zagreb. Our third panelist is Haulia Anifa Fadlol, a current mentee, and she works as a business development executive. Our fourth panelist is Merv Yildrain, who is also a current mentee at the 2020-2021 FIP YPG mentorship cycle. They will all be sharing their experiences and they'll be giving us tips, important tips to note, you know, as mentors or mentees in our individual relationships, in mentor-mentee relationships. Now, to start the panel session, I will be starting with Dr. Charlotte. I will be starting with Dr. Charlotte. Dr. Charlotte, what does being a mentor mean to you? You know, what defines a mentor-mentee relationship?
Thank you very much for asking that question. I think being a mentor for me is to be given an opportunity to share knowledge and experience and ideas to support mentees that wish to further develop their career or are standing at a crossroad where they want to move in new directions. And I'm very happy to be able to contribute to this work.
Beautiful. Okay.
And I think what defines a good mentor-mentee relationship? Well, I think the mentor-mentee relationship that I'm part of, for my account, it's very, very good and very fruitful for me, at least. I think there are 3 points that I would say that are important. Have honest conversations, so be honest and focused in your goals. That gives me as a mentor a greater opportunity to help and support. There is a joint responsibility of success in a mentor-mentee relationship. So, of course, the mentee has to be the driving force, but I also invest in it, not as something, you know, on the side, but actually taking it seriously. And then, of course, both for me and for the mentee, this is driven by an ambition for the future of practice, and that is where we find our common grounds.
Thank you so much, Dr. Charlotte. That was beautiful. Before I move on, I would also like to reiterate that participants can throw in questions to the panel. I would also implore the panelists to turn on their videos so that participants can see them and ask them questions. So moving on to, I would like to move on to Dr. Miranda now. Dr. Miranda, can you share a bit of your mentorship journey with us? You know, were you privileged to have a mentor growing up or you weren't? Can you just share a bit of your mentorship journey with us?
Of course, yes. Could you repeat just the last part of the question? I didn't hear you.
Okay, just like an introduction, can you share your mentorship journey with us? Were you privileged to have a mentor growing up as a younger pharmacist?
Okay.
Yeah.
So the journey for me actually began a couple of years ago when I was on the other side of the YPG mentoring program. I was the mentee. And for me personally, this was a pure pleasure to serve this year as a mentor. I felt great joy and actually personal growth throughout this project because I felt that serving as a mentor to Mer was both enlightening for me. I visualized even some of my personal goals by talking to Merve about her goals and about scheduling how we want to get there to those goals. So yeah, I think it was a very exciting journey that both Merve and I enjoyed, but also developed professionally and personally during this ride.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you for that. Okay, once again, I would like to move to Professor. Okay, no, I could start with you as well, Dr. Miranda. Apart from the GROW model, we've learned a bit about the GROW model today. Are there other models of mentorship or techniques that you have been applying in mentorship, Dr. Miranda?
Yes, so when you talk about mentoring as many other things, you always have different definitions, right? And different types. But when I look at one of the concepts of different mentoring styles, what I feel that I personally find myself most likely to identify with is the cheerleader type of mentor. So I like the positive and warm atmosphere in this relationship. I don't like the negativity. I don't even like putting high expectations for the mentee. I rather have them push from the back to go at their own pace. And talking about different mentoring styles, there is another definition where one of the styles or roles is a connector role. I personally find this mentoring relationship as well very, very useful. I like it. I think I enjoy the creation and the growth of a network for the mentee, and just enjoy connecting people around me because you can see new ideas arising from these relationships as well.
Thank you so much for that, Dr. Charlotte. Do you, apart from the GROW model, do you also, kind of tip in and chip in other forms of models in your mentorship?
Yes, I think for me it's very important what mentee I'm talking with, and it depends a lot of what the mentee wants and what the mentee wants to obtain, and depending on that, I go along with that. So I guess I'm not the kind of, I'm probably more informal in my approach. I'm like Miranda, I'm a researcher as training, but in this sense, I listen very much to the person in front of me, and I try to figure out what it is that individual person needs and wants, and that kind of decides my approach. Don't know if it makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does make sense. It does make sense. Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Miranda. Thank you, Dr. Charlotte. Right now, I'll be moving on to our mentees. Hi, Olia. Hi, Merv. I'll be starting with Olia. Hi, Olia. What can you say about the FIP YPG mentorship program? Can you tell us a bit about your experience so far?
Hi, everyone. Thank you for the questions. My experience in this mentorship program is very fruitful. I was mentored by Professor Charlotte, and as explained, she is very open and transparent, and she is very accommodating to what my goals, Like she explained that she is the type that really embracing what I need. So that's kind of approach was very helpful in our sessions. So that's why I'm very glad to be mentored by her, and yeah, I am very glad to be here and encourage all to find your mentorship journey during this mentorship program provided by FIP.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Olea. Merv, hi Merv. What are the techniques or or steps you've employed in building your relationship with your mentor? How have you been able to establish trust and gain their full commitment? Mentorship is kind of sometimes there's no hard and fast rule. Sometimes it's cold at the beginning. Merv, what are the techniques or steps you've employed, to gain your mentor's commitment and establish trust?
Thank you for the question, and hello everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today. So trust is something we can build by time based on our acts, and we trust people who are honest, responsible, and have integrity. So to establish trust and gain my mentor's full commitment, all I had to do is be myself. So to show her that I'm committed to the promises that I made, I always paid attention to the goals we set for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely, like you suggested at the beginning of the program. And as a result of the attributes of the goals we set, I was able to make an effort and progress. So this was one of the tools that I use, and also being respectful and thoughtful is also important, because I'm talking to someone who is taking time out of her life just to help me. So I made attention to arrange meetings on time, and before every meeting, I prepared an agenda to not to take unnecessary time of hers. Furthermore, I was honest about my problems or weaknesses. Therefore, I believe this also built trust between us. And it was a great program to participate, and I really enjoyed this program. So I also would like to thank Dr. Miranda for her facilitating and positive attitude, and for the organizers of the program. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Merv. I like the fact that you said having a clear goal at the beginning is a good strategy. So, if you have a clear goal, you can easily communicate with your mentor what you want to, achieve, what you want to obtain from the relationship. And from that, you can easily, get your mentor committed, and, that's beautiful. Thank you so much. Before we move on, there is a question from the audience, and I would like to put this through to Professor Meg. The question does, I look forward to becoming a cardiology pharmacist, but I don't seem to find anyone that is there, and then achieving it appears vague. Professor Meg, what advice do you have for this person?
Is he referring to a formal or an informal mentorship program? Because if he is a member of FIP, he can apply to the program, and the program will actually look for a mentor for you that suits your need and suits the field that you would like to have. But if you are looking for an informal mentor, like I mentioned in my presentation, go through the path that you wish to go. So you start doing the job, and actually eventually you will realize that you will find mentors along the way, and all of these potential mentors you can ask, can I set up an appointment? Can I consult you if I encounter a problem? So there are actually many avenues if you're a willing mentee. So there are many possibilities. Maybe our other mentors can also share their experience.
Thank you so much for that, Meg. Thank you so much. I hope that has been clearly answered. So right now, Dr. Charlotte, from experience, what are attributes of a good mentee? What are the qualities you would like to see in a mentee? What are common mistakes, that mentee, make that put a strain on a mentor-mentee relationship from your experience?
I think signifying the good relationship between a mentor and a mentee is, like I said before, an honesty, framing the collaboration you should have together, and having both common interests. So if I want to guide you properly, then you should have another mentor. So it depends on skills also. I've never tried that it hasn't worked. It usually works. But I have also been fortunate that the people that I have been mentoring are serious about it. So I've not met people that were doing this kind of on the side. And that's what I'm talking about in regard to being ambitious. I think it's important that you take this seriously, both as a mentee and as a mentor. And that is what I have always experienced. I've never experienced anything else.
Thank you so much for that. Before I allow you to go, as a mentor, what has mentorship brought to you professionally? It seems like, when we talk about mentorship, it seems like it's one-sided. Like it's the mentee, feeding off the mentor. Are there cases whereby personally as a mentor you can grow from experience? Can you tell us if you've grown professionally from a mentorship? Oh
yes, definitely. There's different reasons why you choose to be a mentor. My personal ambitions or thoughts about it is that I have always been fortunate to meet people that mentored me. I want to give that back. I want to be able to, give that to the next person. And what I found is that it's very, very rewarding to be a mentor, because I learned things about Indonesia. I learned about different ways of being a pharmacist, different cultures, different ways of dreams and ambitions. And I find that some of the things are very different, but most of it is actually general. So I can, even though I don't know a lot about Indonesia, I can still put my knowledge into a setting. So I learn a lot about new things that I can also use in my everyday life and in my collaboration with both in projects, but also with my co-workers.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. I would also like to put that question to Dr. Miranda. I'm sure, what's your perspective on that? As a mentor, have you, as mentorship, what has mentorship brought to you professionally in terms of growth?
Yes, thank you. So I've actually discussed this a little bit in the first part. I enjoyed the fact that I felt like I was in this program on both sides. And yes, as you mentioned, when you're a mentee, you have a very clear idea on your personal, professional growth in the process, but you wonder, will it be the same when you serve as the mentor? But as Charlotte says, it's so rewarding that you don't want to miss on that wonderful feeling that you have throughout this process. It's something like buying something, right? It's very nice to buy something for yourself, but when you buy something for someone else and you see their joy, it's the best feeling in the world. So yes, this process was very, very rewarding for myself, but I also felt the personal growth in it, because it gave me some time to reflect on how important it is to dream, to put ideals, to put goals, and to make plans how to achieve those goals. Sometimes in life you feel like you've reached a certain step and maybe you get a little tired, but this was very enlightening for me, because I felt like, okay, there is still room, let's set some new goals and make plans on how to reach them.
Thank you so much, Dr. Miranda. Just before we move on, I would like to state again that you can put in your questions in the chat box. I'm referring to participant right now. A lot of questions have been coming in and they have, been answered, some of them private questions, however. If I would like to, just read out this question, and I would also read out the answer just for public knowledge so that everyone can benefit. The question says, about mentorship program, are mentees chosen and based on what criteria? And it has been answered by Professor Meg. It says, it's based on essay and application form. So yes, the FIP YPG puts out, a call, and then you answer it, and then probably write an essay or fill an application form. We look at different domains such as objectives, expectations, proposed mentorship plan, and of course we select you based on that. Thank you so much for that. Yeah. So moving on, just in that light, I would like to ask our mentees, the current mentees, starting with Aulia. How have you been able to add value to your relationship, with your mentors? Have you just been feeding off them? Can you share from experience how you've been able to add value to your relationship with your mentors?
Okay, thank you for the question. So how to add value? This is actually an interesting question because we do mentorship via online. So it's like, it doesn't feel like real sometimes because we don't actually meet, and it will be more enlightening if we can meet like actually directly. It would be really happy for me. But how I add value during our sessions is just add a little bit chit chat during the session. So we don't go too formal, just talking about my goals or anything formal regarding the mentorship, but me and Professor Charlotte usually talk about something lightly, like how have you been doing, like what are the activities that you've been doing right now. So we just we go beyond the mentor and mentees relationship, but we're like knowing about each other. Like I know about her family, she talked a bit about her family, and that is very enlightening for me. Like she said before, she knows more about my country, Indonesia, and I knows more about how she lives in Denmark. So that's why this mentorship is very happy experience for me.
Thank you so much, Alia. Mav, can you answer that as well? How have you been able to add value to your relationship with your mentor? Have you just been feeding off your mentor? Yeah.
In this part, I agree with Ulia. We always said that we wish it would be a face-to-face mentorship program, but it isn't. So like Ulia and Professor Charlotte, we chit chat to know about us a little bit further, and also I think I add value to our relationship by willing to learn from her. I was and I still am always eager to meet with her and talk about my problems and my progress. And I think it's really important because, as I said, I'm talking to someone who is taking time out of her life just to help me. So I think it's important for mentors to see if their time and effort is worth it. So I always listen and consider her wise advices before making any decision. And I did that with a great patience. So that's all from me now. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. There's a question from the audience that says, is the mentorship program only for graduates or students from BFAM or FAMD included? Okay, so I think I will just answer that. Professor Meg is actually answering that. Professor Meg, would you like to just answer that?
I'm not sure if you updated the the rule for 2021. So I guess, Emmanuel, you should answer the latest format. But during our time, as long as you're a member of FIP YPG, you can apply for the program.
Yes, thank you. The current session, Mev is actually a pharmacy student. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm
So as an IPSF member, you can apply. You can. I think you are eligible to apply for the mentorship program. It will be screened, and if you pass through, yeah, you'll be selected. So thank you so much. Moving on to that, straight to Dr. Charlotte. Dr. Charlotte, do you think mentorship should be time bound? You know, should mentorship go on forever? Is it compulsory for, okay, I have a mentor and then the relationship should go on forever, or, okay, just to rephrase, as a current mentor in the 2021 FIP mentorship cycle, would this relationship stop with your mentee, right after the cycle, or would you continue? That's just like, to explain further my question.
I think I think there's not one answer to that. So in this specific program, if we wish to continue and meet once in a while, I would love to do that, as long as I can help. And basically, that's why we meet. So I think what you would realize when I look back on my different mentors, I needed them at different times in my life. And I think that is what you would find here. So you need something where you get an intensive mentorship program and you're part of that and you really work with yourself and your own career. And then at a later time, you need to readdress that or look at it from a different angle. And that might very well need another mentor, because then you are at a different level and you need to make a new relation. So I think it depends very much. I'm not the kind of, you will probably support this, I'm not very strict. So I'm open to whatever works for us, as long as it gives a value for both of us.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Charlotte. Dr. Marina, do you have matching opinion or contrasting opinions there?
No, I agree with Charlotte. I think the way the specific YPG mentoring program is concepted, that it does have a time frame, it's good, but Meva and I already discussed that we are going to continue to communicate. It's not like we're going to delete each other's email or phone number just because the mentoring formally ended. She asked me if she can contact me again to discuss some things professionally. And I said, of course. And I even want to see how it all develops, where she goes. And as Charlotte says, if I can help her, I would love to. But I think that naturally these relationships will come into this succession phase where other people will come into Merv's life and serve as mentors in specific fields for her. If she's writing her first research paper, I can help her with the concept of conducting literature research, how to conceptualize a research paper. But she will find a mentor within her specific research topic, right? That she will get in contact and work together on this topic. So I think it will have a natural flow of succession to other mentors in her life.
Thank you so much for that, and thank you, for telling us that your relationship with Merv is going to continue. Thank you so much. Yes, I saw a quite interesting question in the chat, which was asked privately, and I would like to throw it open so that we can all benefit. Professor Meg, how can we measure effectiveness of the mentoring process?
Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, if you are going to follow the GROW model, so we started with a goal. So success is measured on the achievement of these goals. But I want to tell everyone that not all achievements are limited to those goals only. as we have already heard from the panel, they are also growing and learning from each other beyond the set goals, and that's okay. But in a technical way of measuring it, of course, you are successful if you're meeting the goals you set at the beginning.
Thank you so much for that. One last question for you, Professor Meg. We are almost getting to the end of this panel session. Professor Meg, from experience, would you agree that a mentor-mentee relationship, agreed by both parties, sort of like an organic relationship, is more successful than one set up by a third party, like we do in, FIP YPG mentorship program? Would you prefer one that you actually met with a mentee personally, or one that is being set up by, let's say, an organization or by a third party? Do you think?
I mentioned earlier that the context is not the main factor. I mean, when we are designing this program, it is our hope that eventually the mentor and mentee will organically decide to continue on with the program, because we only committed for 9 months. So in that context, if they feel that they are compatible and they are both growing with the relationship, then by all means, we encourage them to continue. That is not to say that those who will decide to stop is not a successful mentor-mentee relationship. Maybe they reach the goal that they set for the relationship for 9 months. So I don't think it's fair to pressure our mentors to really continue after. But of course, as the part of the team who designed it, it's really our hope that eventually they will continue the relationship.
Beautiful.
I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, thank you so much. We are almost very close to the end of the webinar. Lastly, I just observed that we are panelists, the mentor and the mentees are all women. So, Dr. Charlotte, do you prefer to, is gender a factor? Do you prefer to mentor a woman? Does gender really matter in mentorship? Would you prefer to mentor, a lady or a woman as opposed to a man?
The fast answer is no.
Yeah, says no, Dr. Miranda.
It's a matter of interest. It's not a matter of gender, age, or anything. It's a matter of interest.
Beautiful. Dr. Miranda?
I agree. It really doesn't matter from which region of they're coming from, what kind of part of the pharmacy they love and want to grow in. It's just an interest and a joint effort to reach some goals.
And actually, Emmanuel, when we screened the applicants, we didn't even look at the gender. We really based it on merit. And we even have an effort to really hide their names and gender. So we want to be objective. And we really ranked which mentee are the most committed and most qualified for the program. So don't worry about that.
Thank you so much for that, Dr. Meg. And I'm sure our participants have all learned, they've all learned from this panel session. And I think we've been able to, explain clearly what what mentorship means, and, as an extension, what FIP YPG mentorship, what we stand to achieve, what the program is all about. Thank you so much for your contribution so far. Thank you, Dr. Charlotte. Thank you, Dr. Miranda. Thank you, pharmacist Aulia. Thank you, Merv. Beautiful answers to our questions. Thank you so much, Dr. Margarita, for your presentation and also for your answers. So we are almost rounding off, and then the panel session is closed. So right now we would be right there. You all can all see. Actually we there's actually a call out for potential mentors in the FIP YPG mentorship program. So if you would like to mentor, if you feel you have the qualifications, the passion for mentorship, please do apply. The mentorship program would start, the 2021-2022 cohort will start by September, and the deadline for this call is actually 25th of June. So please do apply if you have flair for mentorship, and if you feel you can make impact on someone. Thank you. Next slide, please. So wrapping up, please do follow us. do follow FIP YPG on social media. That's our Twitter handle, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, so that you can be well abreast of what is going on, and you can follow us properly as a member of FIP YPG. And of course, the recordings to today's presentation is available at www.fip.org. If you are not a member right now, please do apply to www.fip.org/membership registration. I think Ikwaibom has actually highlighted steps if you would like to be a member of FIP, below 35 years, if you're a pharmacist or a pharmaceutical scientist. And of course, the registration fee, the annual due is between, I think, 15 euros to 50 euros. Thank you so much. Next slide. Yes, once again, I believe Ikwaibom stated earlier that this webinar series is, this webinar is a second webinar of the professional of the FIP Career Development Toolkit series, and it's very, very important. If to read this toolkit, it's full of several tools you need as a young pharmacist or pharmaceutical scientist. It has a toolkit and separate worksheets on the FIP website. So please download and please go through and read it. There are lots and lots of lessons you need to learn as a young pharmacist or pharmaceutical scientist. Thank you. Next slide, please. So thank you so much for your attention. Please, we'll see you at the next FIP Congress. Once again, thank you to our panelists. Thank you to the lead speaker. Thank you so much. It's been an amazing session. Thank you so much. My name is Emmanuel Oluwabadi, and hopefully we will see you next at the next webinar. Thank you so much. Bye.